All right, what's going on? It's episode, what are we at? Episode 4 now? The Justin Love Life podcast. This time, chopping up with my homie Rufus Blaq. Rufus has written tons of records for Destiny's Child, for Salt and Peppa, for Faith Evans, just to name a few. And the conversation we have goes really deep as far as the music industry and people that we all know, but there are things about them that we don't know, that Rufus got a chance to share with me. Really interesting story about Bobby and Whitney and his perspective with them personally. Also really interesting perspective about Spinderella from Salt and Peppa and some stuff that she did that none of us ever knew. I think you're really gonna get a lot out of this and get a lot of value out of what he shares about not just the music industry, but about life. So let's jump into my conversation with the legendary and my friend, Rufus Blaq.
Not every day do I get a chance to talk to someone who has made music history and is a personal friend of mine. So I want to introduce you to the legend, the man himself, Rufus Blaq. Rufus, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, man. It's good to see you, brother.
Bro, good to see you too, man. First of all, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being a real friend, man. I believe the scripture says that a friend is born for the day of adversity. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And not everybody. One thing I've learned about radio, man, is who are your friends if they still call when you don't have the call letters. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, brother.
So I want people to know more about what you've done and where you've been and how you've contributed to our society, man. Because you've been doing music, bro, for what, a long time, over 20 years, right?
Over that, man. First and foremost, I want to thank you for your friendship as well, brother. I mean,
thank you, man.
Though, a person can be doing some phenomenal things in his business. Mm-hmm. And at the time they're doing some phenomenal things, they can be having a turbulent time in their lives. You know what I'm saying? So I was transitioning, and the last time we was together, we had a good time too. We did the I Love My Haters video. A lot of time up at the radio station. Shout out to Dami, City, and Misty and all those guys. And it was a lot going on. I was going through a lot. But as far as with me with music, man, yes, like you said, I got into the music business. I left Youngstown, Ohio to get into the music business in 1992.
Okay.
So I've been doing this, man. I just said that on my live recently. I've been writing music dang near every day of my life since I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I've been in it, and then I've been in it from the heart, kid, from day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What got you interested in music? Is what you've always wanted to do since you were a kid, or how did you kind of fall into that?
I mean, I was raised in it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I mean, as a little boy, I would go to our family reunions, the Garrett family reunions, and I had uncles and all that. They played bass guitar, lead guitars. I mean, they would just have jam sessions at the family reunion. And then my uncle Jordan, Butch Whip, he was a DJ in Youngstown, Ohio. He also drums in the drum and bugle corps. So every day of my life, I'm in his bedrooms. I'm sneaking and playing records. I'm sitting up Shaka Khan albums, Cameo albums. I'm making an album cover my audience around the room, and I'm performing for them. So I was one of them little imaginative kids that, I was hard-headed. I would go in this room and just listen to all of those records over and over and over. So music was in me from day one, and I couldn't fight the urge to become who I am today because of my upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was music around me.
Tell me about how you made the transition from Youngstown and, Midwest America, if you will, to the connections you made, like a Salt and Peppa, like a Faith Evans, like these people. How a dream become a reality for you?
Youngstown, Ohio was a wonderful place to grow up. And when I was a young man, we had a lot of big talent shows, and man, I was like a superstar in my city. Like there was like, we had rival dance groups on east side of town. I mean, we had local, back then we really had local superstars. There wasn't no hating back then. Like, I mean, of course, you know, people hated it. There was jealousy, but it wasn't like hating to the extreme like it is with social media today.
Okay.
People would come to the variety shows and the talent shows and scream at the top of their lungs like we were New Edition. It was a lovely time. And around that time, I started realizing that if I can do this to them, I could do this to the world. And we started venturing out and doing little shows like in Akron, Toledo, Columbus, and we got the same response. And in my heart of hearts, I wasn't content with just being known in Ohio. When I started rhyming and I started battling, that was a great thing for my life. Around that time, I started battling, and I was coming into myself as a man, and I was getting ready to graduate from high school. So I made my way to Columbus.
Wow. So all this is before you graduated high school.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
So I got that experience, man. Shout out to Youngstown for that love. But when I got to Columbus, Ohio, in early 1992, I would come and visit like my senior year. I would come up to the Icebreakers at Ohio State, the opening parties.
Yeah.
But when I got to Columbus, man, Columbus was like the first big city that embraced me. I used to go to Washington, D.C. every summer with my cousins, but that's different. Columbus, I became a star there too. I mean, with the dancing and the rapping, I would rap with my brother Dame Lee and DJ O Sharp and Rich Nice. Those were my guys.
Yeah.
And we would hang out and they would have me battling like 20 guys. And when I started getting love in Columbus like that, and they knew me all over campus, I just knew I had to do something. I felt like if I didn't take a chance to become what I wanted to be in my life, that I would be a miserable man. So I did the unthinkable. I moved back to Youngstown to be close to my mom for a while. I worked a 9 to 5. I saved up money. I did foolish things like sold drugs to save up money to get outfits.
Okay.
Just so I can get on the Greyhound bus and go to Atlanta.
Wow.
And I made that move to Atlanta when Atlanta was hot. I'm talking about the Boomerang soundtrack was out. Dallas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Jermaine Dupri Jump was out. And I left, man. I was willing to go down there and be homeless. I was willing to do what I had to do to make it. And to be honest with you, make a long story short, here we are today. You know, I mean, I got a story, man. I definitely got a story. I'm in the midst of writing a book, and I definitely want to do a little movie on it too.
Wow. So it's really, for you, it's really true what they say. You have to be in the right place at the right time. And I love your story, man, because, you know, I'm from Columbus, and I feel like there's almost I guess a mentality that takes place in a lot of metropolis areas, I'll say. Specifically, I've noticed it in the Midwest, where it's for example, like you're from Youngstown, you have to stay in Youngstown. You have to rep Youngstown, if you will. And if you don't, then you're frowned upon by your colleagues and your peers, if you will. But if you make that move, you make that transition to another city where there is opportunity, and then you succeed, they're happy for you. They want to, you know, they want to claim you again, because now, let's be honest, now you have something to offer them, if you will. You know what I mean? I had a conversation with Jack Harlow a few weeks ago, and he, being from Louisville, he did the kind of same thing in Louisville that you talked about doing Youngstown and Columbus, where you expanded your brand in that city. But then he talked about how he made the move to Atlanta, because he knew people in Louisville eventually going to get tired of him. and they were going to get used to him. They're just going to be like, here he is again performing this weekend. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I guess, would you say that was kind of the same thing for you, where it was, okay, I got Youngstown, if you will. I got Columbus, if you will. Now let me go, since I've already established this body of work, let me go to where someone can take this body of work and take it to the next level. Was that your mentality for moving and relocating to Atlanta?
Well, honestly, man, it was crazy because at the time I was in Youngstown, I was getting so much love. They loved me. They screamed for me everywhere. But when I told them that I was going to leave to make it, that's when the laughter came in.
Really?
A lot of people said, you're not going to make it. Didn't believe in me, and it was crazy. Some of the people that was telling me, you crazy, you need to go to school, you need to go to the army, and whatever. But then I made it, and I'm gonna tell you, you said something. You said, like, they want you to rep. They want you to rep.
Right.
I repped my city like no other has repped their city. I'm always Youngstown this, always Youngstown that. All on my album, countless times that I said Youngstown on my album. Even in my video, Out of Sight, that shot to #1. When it came out, it's me saying, Y-Town gonna make you dance. I mean, I wanted the world to know about Youngstown. And with the success of that and the success of those 2 great Salt and Pepper records on BET consistently every day, Youngstown now had a face. Youngstown now had an identity in hip hop. But to this day, just like that brother said, they tired of me. They, it is what it is. The Bible even says it too, like in your own hometown,
Right. Prophet is without honor except in his own town or his own.
Right.
Yeah. You're right.
To this day, I've experienced that at high levels. However, I stopped talking about it, and I stopped because at some point I had to stop talking about it because it started to mess with my spirit. It started to mess with me spiritually. You know what I'm saying? I had to realize that, you know what? I'm from Youngstown, but oftentimes, God takes our mission elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can rep all day. You can rep all day. But what God wants you to be, that's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And it's all more about purpose than anything. Yeah, right. Absolutely, man. How did the Out of Sight record come about? How did that how were you able to, how did that happen? Tell me about that.
Upon signing my first deal in 1994, my first deal was with Giant Records. They Color Me Bad. New Jack City movie soundtrack and Set You Up. So when I got on the label, I was excited, but that label, it kind of collapsed. It just started going left. So we ended up getting a deal with Jam and Lewis at Perspective. When we got the record, Terry Lewis looked at me and he was like, and he's a handsome guy. He's a special kid. He's funny. He's all of these things. We need a single that reflects who he is, like everything about him. So at the time, it was the whole I love it when they call me Big Papa, the whole shit spilling in New York. At that time, everybody was Cristal Poppers and trying to get on this Bad Boy wave. And now Bad Boy was just starting out. But Puff had everybody Versace, Gucci, champagne. Hip hop was changing. I personally didn't want to go that route for me. So I came back to Columbus rather. I came back to Columbus for a couple weeks. And I got on my ASR 10. I had a little keyboard that I made beats on. I drank some Hennessy and I made a beat. And I did that every time I wrote it from I called it polo type back then. And I did the yo and I put the harmonies on it. And everybody was like, yo, and you harmonizing, yo, that's different. You spitting on it. So I took it back to New York and I played it for my producer, Chad Elliott. And he was like, yo, yo, we got to come up with a beat to that. So him and my man, Al West, shout out to Al West, was producing with Chad as well. They did a track for a group called The Product GMB. They had the song Maria Maria out.
Okay, yeah.
And Maria Maria was really big. They needed a second single. So the Out of Sight beat was originally theirs.
Oh, wow.
They was at Chad's
That's
house
crazy.
with Al West cutting this record over and over and over. And from what I heard, it was terrible. So when they left, I remember how frustrated Chad and Al looked. And Chad looked at me and said, I got an idea. He said, Rufus, go in there and do that Polo Tight record. Go in there and do that Polo Tight record to this beat. I went in there and just the verses was one take Jake, straight down.
Wow.
And I was saying Polo Tight, but the only thing he had me do over was take the Polo Tights out. He said, and this was Chad, he said, say Out of Sight. And I did it. And he put a rough mix on it. About a month later, like about 3 weeks to a month later, I was on a flight out to LA and my A&R came and picked me up with his wife. Shout out to Junior Regisford. He came and got me with his wife from the airport. When I got in the car, I gave him the cassette. I said, check this out. And he was just looking crazy driving on the 101, like, oh my God. I never forget. It was a beautiful sunny day that day. He looked back at me and his wife was smiling. He said, we got the single. We got the single. And that was a great feeling because you can have the dopest album. You can have so many incredible records on your album, you know what I mean? But not have the single. And you know, I come from the era where albums were paramount.
Why is that?
You had to have a single. If you ain't had a single, you ain't got no hit album.
Why was the album paramount back then as compared to what it is now?
Because of the streaming and people are in the mindset of just putting out songs now. Not really bodies of work. There are some artists out there that's putting out bodies of work. Like Beyonce still will give you an album. You know what I'm saying? There are certain people that will still give you an album. I love Kendrick Lamar will give you an album. But for the most part, people just putting out songs.
Is that just a change in the industry, or do you think that's a change in the mentality of the artists themselves?
It's a bit of both because you know, my mother always said it take a strong fish to swim upstream. And that's true. But in this business, like the fish swimming upstream, they don't always transcend. You know, oftentimes being different can get you overlooked. You know what I'm saying? And underpaid.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If everybody's streaming, the music industry at this particular time in era, they have to do what the kids are doing. I mean, this is not like back in the day when we sold records. You know, so it's almost like social media took over, and now the record labels has to move with the times. Whatever these kids are doing, it's different. Back in the day, the labels called the shots. Now the artists call the shots. That is the good thing about it, though.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Tell me about how you met Salt and Peppa. How did the collab come there? You did a lot of work with those ladies.
Yeah, I was blessed to be able to work with them, man, from day one. It's still a blessing to me from time to time. Me and Salt, we get on the phone and talk about God and the Lord. Oftentimes, it ain't even about music. She's a true friend and a wonderful human being. And she also, I make her laugh because I call her my Diana Ross. You know what I'm saying? You know, when Chad got the project for Salt and Peppa, she heard my album and heard my voice and was like, we want to work with him. And then I came in, I was blown away, man. And I worked with them. She liked me. She liked my voice. She liked how I write. She invited me to write with her, and I learned from her. Still to this day, she won't say I taught him, but she was one of my greatest teachers. She really was.
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful time in my career. One of the greatest times I had, because at the same time I was working with them, I was also writing with Queen Latifah. on her. I was doing their
Oh,
albums. I was
I
doing
didn't
3
know
albums
that.
at the same time. I was doing Salt and Peppa album Brand New.
Okay.
I was doing Spinderella's solo album, which never came out.
I was about to say I
And
never
at the
heard of
same
that.
time, I was
Yeah.
doing Queen Latifah Order in the Court. I got a song with Latifah on that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Wow.
With Out of Sight getting ready to drop. With
Wow.
my DJ Clue classic Artifacts with the Locks. This all came out on me. So it was a dope time in my life and career.
Tell me about you just dropped a bomb on Spinderella's solo album. I've never heard of that.
Never came out.
Why didn't it come out? Do you know?
Politics, man. It was a lot of politics.
Wow.
You know, a lot of, you know, like I told you, just because things and people are so successful don't mean that it isn't any turbulence or turmoil or you know, distorted things happening. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of distortion in success. You know what I'm saying? People just think success means instant clarity. You know, black and white, we're here. Nah, bro. It's a lot that come with it. So with that situation, it was a lot of stuff going on. And I wished it would have came out because it was a dope album. It was like a story from start to finish. And Spin was very hungry. She was the first to the studio, the last to leave.
Wow.
She wasn't on no diva stuff at all. She just wanted to put that work in.
Wow.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, that album, man, when I really think about it, that album, that broke my heart. That never came out. And Omarion's brother, Orion, I did a whole album on him and that didn't come out. And that was heartbreaking because there's some amazing work. We did some amazing work. We did, not I. We did some amazing work on both of those albums.
Wow, that's great. That's great. I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time that we really heard Spin on the mic was probably the What a Man record. Is that right, or was it before then?
No,
that's what I remember.
She had What a Man, and then she did a joint with Big Daddy Kane called something very special. They redid that record, and she dropped the verse on that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, Spin, she dope.
Yeah, she was nice.
She's such a freaking phenomenal person. She's all so many characters. She's funny, she witty, she's slick with the mouth, and when she rhymed, I used to love the way she rhymed. You know what I'm saying? She had a tone and a presence and a magic on the mic. So like the world didn't get to get the full energy of that. I wish the world could have got.
That's a shame.
Been at her illest, you know what I mean? She would have been a serious problem to a lot of these females in hip hop. As she got her chance.
And I know her daughter is a great DJ. I heard her mix a couple years ago. I was like, wow, I had no idea. It's really, I thought that was really dope that the family, you know, she passed down the you know, the talent and stuff like that. I thought that was really dope. I got a chance to meet them. I don't remember if I told you on the I Love the 90s tour when we were on the Ship Hop cruise. So they're very, very sweet ladies, man. Speaking of sweet ladies, tell me about you have a very unique friendship connection with Faith Evans. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, man. Faith Evans is my sister, man. Like a lot of people, like honestly, man, you know, that's like, you know, blood don't make you family. The love does, man. And she's like my blood sister. Like we've been through the trenches together, through the highs, the lows, everything. And you don't get a true friend like that in life often. They don't build them like that no more. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like she gets a bad rep, man. I feel like she gets a bad rep. You know what I mean?
Well, what it is that every great leader, I don't care who you are, Samson, David, you know, me, you know, you experience betrayal, you experience attacks, you experience lies, you experience all of these things. Every great leader, every great one has experienced these things. So like, you know, that saying says, you cannot skip the struggle. The road to success is a heavy cross to bear, and she's carried some heavy things. And she's still here. She's still doing it. She's still legendary. And what I learned from her is, you know, we met in the 92, 93. I'm a young man. I finally get to New York, and I'm in the session with Al B. Shore. At the time, I was writing for Rashida from Luvv and Hip Hop. She's like one of my first she's one of my first
I love
artists.
Rashida, man. Wow, I love her.
Word, I used to go pick up Rashida from high school. That was my little baby sister too.
Really? Wow.
We actually met Faith together. Rashida was up there as my little sister sitting on my lap in the I'll Be Short session. And we laughing, but we hearing this girl sing like we ain't never heard before. And she comes out, she got the little bob and a little pleated skirt and a little suit jacket and a turtleneck. Just so humble. And me and Faith just start talking and laughing and hanging out every time I come in the studio, and then we exchange numbers. And I just would go out there with her and Roz and her and Cheryl and all of them. Shout out to the crew. And I used to be in East Orange. I'm a Youngstown boy, but I'm out in Newark and East Orange drinking and smoking and something with them. And I mean, China was my 1-year-old. Was like my 1-year-old, like barely walking and everything. I remember China when she was like Patience. So we started from back then before we even knew a Biggie existed. We was talking about, we was smoking, having our drinks, talking about when we make it, when we get on. And I'll never forget something that Faith said to me when we was kids. She said, when we make it and we get on, she said, Peekaboo, when you get on, she was like, don't act like you don't know niggas no more. Don't start getting brand new. No, like she was already on that. So a lot of
why did she tell you that?
Because I was wild, and I would do. Justin, I was crazy. I would just go up to a chick and say something crazy, and the chick would be in the car with me, kissing me on my lap, and I don't even know.
Got you.
I was one of them wild dudes, bro.
You one of them guys. Okay.
Oh God, I thank the Lord. I thank the Lord for deliverance, man. But my sister used to be seeing me being wild, and not just because of that. It's just because at the same time, Faith is the type of person that practices what she preaches. I believe she also was preaching to herself. See, that's what people. I just did. Own Network has a new series called Behind Every Man. On the Own Network, and I just did an episode on Faith Evans for them. They had the camera crew come over. It's pretty cool. So it's gonna be on the Own Network. Whoever's watching this, make sure.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I said for your fans watching this, make sure they all tune in. Behind Every Man, Faith Evans. They'll see me on that, like talking about the whole situation.
Do you know when that's gonna be released?
I don't know yet. Okay. Yeah, but we in the first season though.
Wow, that's dope. That's super dope. Yeah, I feel like Faith is one of those people that has always been, how should I say this? I feel that she was always she wasn't given her due credit, in my opinion. Because I can only imagine the life and the challenges that she went through with everything. Like, we saw the Biggie movie, but we know that's just a movie. You know what I mean? And I just feel like all the stuff that I'm sure she went through with Kim and all this stuff, there's always at least two sides to every story. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Faith always has fascinated me because I feel like we've never really got a chance to hear her side of the story. That's, it's kind of how I've perceived her.
Even with this show, like, some of the questions that they were asking me, I had to, now I'm not talking about that no more, because people process the same things about her over and over. And she just chooses not to entertain it. She's like, this is how she is. I'm not going to be talking about something I already spoke on before. And number two, if it's not true, I'm not even entertaining that. She's just very strong-minded and strong-willed, and you're right. People say what they're gonna say, but at the end of the day, she keeps going. Just won that Soul Train Lady of Soul Lifetime Achievement Award. Lady of Soul Award. You know,
Yeah.
she's still doing her thing. She's still here.
Yeah. She's amazing, man. I really, and I would love for you, if you could share with me, speaking of women with beautiful voices, you told me a couple years ago a story about how you went to Bobby and Whitney's house, and and correct me if I misunderstood, but if I remember correctly, you told me about just how much they appeared to be in love and how they were inseparable, and how warming and welcoming they were to you and to all their guests. Can you just kind of give me and everybody just a glimpse into behind the doors, behind the scenes of what you experienced with Bobby and Whitney? Because those, I feel like they also are people that have kind of gotten a bad rep to a point. You know, I mean, there's been unfortunate circumstances, obviously, that we all know about with their lives. And, you know, I mean, even I can just speak just as a fan. You know, I feel Bobby has really been painted as almost like a villain to a point. A lot of people really think that he is, you know, Whitney, and you know, and God rest her soul, of course. Whitney was a very innocent, sweet young lady and was corrupted by this man. I don't know. I was, you know, I'm a fan looking from the outside in. What's your perspective on Bobby and Whitney and your experience personally with them?
My perspective is it was two kids from the hood fell in love. And hood kids get together and do hood things. That's it. And honestly, I met them through Faith Evans. You know, my sister took me over there that summer for like a cookout, and we had a blast by the pool. Like, we was at Whitney's house out in Jersey, and it was a wonderful time. And I saw, you know, Whitney and Bob in action. Now, I've met Bob, and partied with Bob before in New York, and had a good time with him. I was wild, he's wild. Who's not in this business? But when that spotlight is on you, it's intensified more. So Bob wasn't doing nothing nobody else wasn't doing. You know what I mean? From day one, it's just that he was Bobby Brown, and Bobby Brown was mega. And let's keep it all the way up. And this is no disrespect, because Whitney Houston is not here, nor is she here to defend herself. And I do believe if Whitney was here, Whitney was such a realist, like being around her. I mean, so I'm sure she would giggle about this and be like, facts, if you know, if she was here right now. Bruh, Whitney was on before Bobby. Whitney was on. Bobby was just a new addition dude getting ready to embark on a solo career. He had no idea where it would go. You seen the I Need a Girlfriend video. He didn't know what direction he was going in. Whitney had records out. Whitney had Clive Davis. She was around the big dogs. So when you're around the big dogs, things are available to you that wouldn't be available to Bob. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm not trying to flip it and say she turned him out either. It's at the end of the day, one can tell the other no matter who introduced anybody to what. And at the end of the day, let's say she liked the coke, and let's say he liked the weed. When you smoking and you drinking and you having fun, and they both like to drink, you both are open to try things. And they're in love. Two hood kids that can get smoked when they want it, drink when they want it, sniff when they want it. They together, they're in love. What do you expect? We were young, and they were young in the business, just like once upon a time we were young in the business. You feel me? So people just take it too far. And it got to the point where, you know, both of them blew all their money. Both of them got quite unhealthy. But guess what? That's Bobby and Whitney is not the only story in this business like that. It's people still alive to this day with those same stories. Rick James, he passed away. You know, all them years of drugs and all the years of partying, it happens. That's why I had to shut it down, because it can happen to anyone. So what I remember from Bobby and Whitney more than any of that stuff that we just talked about is that love. I tell you what, I'll tell you this one story. He had her by the back of her pants, and I think I told you this. And she put her arms out like this. And he kept letting her lower and lower by the pool, saying, I'm gonna drop you, letting her all the way down to the pool to where she was so close to the water. And a lot of people was like, Bobby, don't, you're crazy, Bobby, you better not drop her. And I'll never forget, she said, Bobby loves me. He will not humiliate me. Trust, trust, trust. I'm looking up like, yo, these two, I love them. I love these two. And he pulled her all the way up, and she just wrapped up, threw one of her legs up on him, and they just hugged and kissed. And I said, you know what, man? People judge them. People judge them. But their love is, their love to me, I've seen people who didn't take a drop of alcohol, didn't smoke anything or sniff anything in their lives, and their love wasn't as pure as that.
Wow.
So that moment I saw them together, that's why it broke my heart when they didn't make it. Because letting the world in is what did it. And you see, they did that reality show. Remember that reality show?
Yeah.
That's where it all starts. When nowadays with social media, we're letting too many people, too many opinions, too many people into our lives. And I believe that's what happened to Whitney and Bobby. And guess what? People saw that happen and they don't care. You see couples all day on TV fighting, throwing drinks on each other, talk about, I love you, I'm in love with you, trying to be them. They ain't been trying to be them. People don't learn.
Wow. Wow. That blows my mind. The what are your thoughts on why is the, how should I say this? Why is the party scene? Why are all these elements so prevalent in the industry? Do you know what I mean? I get it, and you're in a club setting, you're in a bar setting, whatever, people drink, but why is it, do you think, that the heavy drugs, if you will, are so prevalent with artists? Because we see it across the board, whether you're in hip hop or whether you're in rock or you're country or whatever. It seems like, I feel like it's very prevalent in the arts, and not even necessarily in music, in theatrical and artists, or not artists, or actors and actresses, very prevalent, the heavy drugs. Why do you think that is?
Yo, it's a saying that said, no junk, no soul. I remember being told that. I believe someone said, Pink Floyd said that or something. Don't misquote me. I don't want to put nothing on Pink Floyd that he didn't say, but I remember somebody saying that. But at the end of the day, you become the life. The life is the music, and with the music is what makes people dance. The music is what sets people's soul free. And what perfect place to be in to absorb all that energy and to see how people move and to touch and to feel and absorb is the party scene, the club.
Okay.
You become the life. And I remember, like, when I started isolating myself, I remember my A&Rs and people would tell me, listen, man, you're going to lose touch. You're going to forget what's going on out there. You got to get out. And I would slip out into the night. And I'm going to tell you, one place that will suck you in is New York. And living in New York, I just be sitting out, looking outside. I can see the whole city. And I'm sitting outside, something is telling me to stay in, something telling me to stay in. Get sucked right into that city and be out partying, drinking, smoking. They see you, they're taking pictures when you walk in. Oh, Rufus Blaq's here. Oh, his new album. DJ shot you out on the mic, and Queen Latifah's here, and Bobby Brown's here, and all these people are here. It's like it becomes an addiction, and it does fuel your pen. It does fuel your mind. It gives you songs. that's how R. Kelly did it. That's how R. Kelly did that album with Jay-Z, the best of both worlds joint, the body, yada, yada. They would go out to the club and see girls doing stuff, grounding on the wall, and he's making lyrics up. He's seeing a lot of the stuff on that album is stuff that they were seeing in the club.
Oh, wow.
I would be in the club and I would go in there and see what's going on and come up with like 3 or 4 songs. And I would be like, yo, I would call my label and be like, I gotta go straight to the studio.
Okay, that makes sense. I've heard
the
that.
life is the fuel, man. The life is the fuel. And when you want to be in the state you in when you saw it too, when you cutting it. When you cutting the record, you want to be in the state.
Okay.
I remember I was like, man, I was going off that Hennessy, man. That Hennessy had me lit. Word. I was chasing it with Heineken's too. So with the runner at the studio, be sitting there like, so you still want your double cheeseburgers and fries? You want me to run to the liquor store and get you what size Henny and 6-pack of Heineken? Yeah, go get it. You ain't got to pay for it. It's in your budget. You're signed to a label now.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you from Youngstown, or it don't matter where you from. You a little dude with a dream. From any city, a little dude with a dream, and you got that laid at your table. You get caught up in the life. It's so easy. It's like you need that. It's crazy, but it's real.
Wow. Speaking of writing, man, and that's really fascinating. Speaking of writing, tell me about, this is something that I think a lot of people that are just have been fans like myself, don't understand about the business. And it's part of what you've been doing for a while now. And that's on the writing side. I've, I think it was, when was it? 2008 or something like that. I remember when The Dream came out with tons of content. He had the falsetto record, and he had, just Shorty's a 10, Shorty's a 10, all that stuff. And then I felt like he kind of disappeared. And I remember talking to somebody about that one time. I said, whatever happened to The Dream? And they said, oh, he's written blah, 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 blah. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And tell me about, I know you do a lot of writing. I know you wrote, you said you co-wrote some of the On the Way record, the Jhene Aiko. I know you shared that with me. Tell me about some other work that you've done, man, and as far as the penmanship and the composition that we don't know about.
Man, I've written a lot and co-written a lot of records. I mean, where should I start? From Omarion, a lot of the Face-Off album with Omarion and Bow Wow. A lot of Marcus Houston records. A lot of, people know about the songs. Some people don't know about some of the songs I did with Faith Evans, because I told my wife, one of the records I wrote with Faith was called Heaven Only Knows. She said, oh my God, husband, that's one of my favorite songs. You kidding me? You wrote on that song. I didn't know you wrote on that song.
Yeah.
And then my wife the other day, when she had seen I posted the On the Way record, she said, oh my God, husband, congratulations. Cause it's getting to a point where now I move different, I'm thankful for songs that I've written and songs I got coming out, but my mind is more so, this is my job. So I'm focused on my wife and my kids, but all of the songs like Destiny's Child, Jumpin', and, movie scores and movie soundtracks that I've done and things of that sort of nature. I'm proud of them. I've done, a lot of people say, man, I didn't know you wrote these songs. And I'm like, yeah, Faith Evans came out with the album, The King and I, with her and Big recently. I wrote on that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
What makes you a successful writer as compared to a performer or a vocalist?
Because I tap into the artist. I become them.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful thing. Like I just was blessed to be able to write pretty much Mila J's whole album with Mad Lion. Then me and Mad Lion got a project coming out called Black Lion, but doing Mila J's project was pretty dope because, you know, I did her first album. I co-executive produced her first album and wrote most of her first album, Split Personality.
It's a great album, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Which opened the doors for her to do, like, I'm vibing, I'm kicking it. I forgot the name of that record. I'm kicking back. Yeah. All of those great records she's done. She's always shown love and was like, yo, bro, you know, we got this popping together. You know what I mean? She's fam as well. And just now being able to write with my wife, you know, I just taking my pen game up even higher because my wife is a phenom with the pen. She's like, I'm a male version of her. She's a female version of me.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
But with this writing, back to answering your question, man, I just mainly focus on tapping into the artist, feeling what they're feeling, having I like to conversate with the artist first before I just jump in and start writing for them.
Okay.
So I believe writing and arranging and co-producing, man, that saved my life in my career. Because if I would have just focused on being a star like I wanted to, it would have been over. It would have been over.
Why is that?
Because at the end of the day, number one, you have to have sense enough to know that at some point, you don't just put your eggs all in one basket. Certain things get old to you. Me and Redhead Kingpin spoke yesterday. He's a good friend of mine. And he was saying some real stuff. He was like, yo, I don't have the desire to be an artist anymore. Like, people will call me and be like, yo, I want you to come out on the road. And he's like, no, I'm not going out on the road. Even if I needed the money, I wouldn't go because I want to leave Redhead Kingpin the way you remember him. You know, it's too often, you know, I hear older artists like, dog, you ain't put out a record since 1989. Like, yeah. Star again. Like, bro, you already cemented in history. You're already a star. If you're going to still do, I feel like at my age, when I do records, I'm doing it to have fun. Because what pays my bills and what makes the money is being behind the scenes, writing the records, the publishing, the writers, the royalties, the mechanical royalties. Oh my goodness. I mean, you can write one big record and take care of yourself for the rest of your life. Like, I've been through some turbulent times with my taxes, not paying attention to paying my taxes, and that jumping record for Destiny's Child come in and save the day and take care of all taxes. And I ain't have to go get in any kind of trouble with the law because I got that record. And now, then I love to look at my graph from like ASCAP or Universal and see where all my records are playing. It just motivates you. It motivates you. Wow. And me being an artist, I'm sure that if I would have been focused and I would have blown up, I'm sure I'd have been one of those artists that can, you know, come back and give you one here and there. But at some point, as a man, that's not what you want to keep doing. You know, like Jay-Z, he's having fun. Jay-Z's having fun. Jay-Z is focused on being a businessman right now.
Yeah.
But if for a quick 15 million, don't be surprised if one day Jay-Z album drops tomorrow and you're like, what the heck? Jay-Z about to, and not everybody will go crazy.
Yeah.
But he ain't focused on that.
Yeah.
I have fun being an artist, but my bread and butter, what feeds my family, is me being a businessman and writing these records and producing and arranging these records.
So how do you get over yourself?
How do you get over yourself?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because I can relate to that from a radio perspective because, you know, I've been doing radio for about 15 years, man. And, you know, I still love being on the mic. I still love being that entertainer, that engager, if you will, with an audience. Bro, I was out of the game. You know what I mean? I was out of the game for about a year. And it wasn't that was the thing that I missed most. you know what I mean, was engaging with an audience. It wasn't the money, you know, it wasn't blah, blah, blah. It was simply, I missed engaging with an audience. And honestly, bro, there was probably a part of me that said, I kind of miss being someone. Do you know what I mean? And because that's where you really check yourself and your security and your identity. And that's when your relationship with deity comes into play. It's how secure can you be in who you are. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I had a little trouble with that, you know, getting over myself, if you will. How do you get over? How do you get over yourself?
You know, you listen, man. First and foremost, you're already a humble dude. You're over yourself. At the end of the day, you're already over you. The thing is, listen, artistry and what you do, here's where I believe is different.
Okay.
With you being on the radio, you're being informative. You're not just talking about music. You talk about things that's going on in the world today, government. You're talking about poverty. You talk. I've seen you in action before. Like you're for real about this. Like this is what you really do. It's not just music. You know what I'm saying? You report news and you do it well. You do it from a godly standpoint too. So we need faces like you. This is your calling. We need faces like you. Now, as far as music, when your mind is just on being a star, being a star, I gotta have a record out. I gotta have a record out. Like, it's different from what you do. Me, I just didn't want to get caught up in myself as like trying to keep up with all of these other artists and what they're doing and what they're talking about. I'm like where you are right now. I'm still an artist, but I'm over myself, but I'm still an artist because I'm putting out records now that are very informative. I'm about to do a video called Born Again, talking about all this crazy stuff I was doing and how God delivered me from it. But but what I did was, I'm gonna tell you something that's deep. You ever watch The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah, love that show.
Okay, so the lady that played Rick's wife.
Yes.
I saw an interview on her and they was talking about how great the show was and how great she was on the show. And she said, well, I wouldn't know because I've never watched an episode. And they said to her, they said, wait, hold on. This is a huge show. You've never seen one? She said, no, because once I do a job, I move on. She said, and plus, I don't want to watch that show and get into watching that show and start getting full of myself.
Wow.
And that's another thing I told you. I talked to my brother Redhead about yesterday. We had a great, great conversation. And attention is a drug. See, you're doing it for the right attention because you're trying to feed someone. You're trying to feed people good music, you know, be informative of what's going on today, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, peace, love. You know what I'm saying? You have topics about love in your love life. It's different. I don't think you wake up every day thinking, okay, let me be on the radio so I can secure my my red carpet entrance at this new club and have all the cameras on me.
Right. Yeah, I'm not that guy.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's a difference. So with most artists, we get addicted to that aspect. And so many of us, and I like to put the word us in it because I don't like to be the one that now I'm in my healing, I exclude myself and I was once one of them. No, I'm not, because I can go back. It can happen to me. People relapse. It's a fact. Relapse is in the dictionary. It happens. So I'm saying we too often get accustomed to that limelight, to that red carpet, to that free champagne, to that gotta be seen here, gotta be there, and want people to hear us talk. And who is it feeding? Yourself.
Yeah.
And you get so accustomed to feeding yourself, you know, you start just stuffing everything in. Feed somebody else. What are you learning? What are you learning that you can give back? You give back, so there's a difference. So please, if you're gonna stop giving back, don't get over yourself then, champ.
I love that, man.
Out here, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man.
Word
Wow.
up.
I gotta run back to this, man, because I'm not gonna even play dumb. I didn't know that you wrote the Jumpin' Jumpin' record. That like you blew my mind with that, man.
That
Tell
was
me.
my melody. That was actually my melody. It
Okay. Oh,
wasn't my lyrics. It was my
okay.
melody I came up with, and my producer loved it, and he put it together and he shot it to Beyonce, and she took my melodies and made a great record.
I see. Wow. Okay. So there are
That's how that
different.
happened.
I didn't know that. So there are different parts to writing a song. There's the
Absolutely.
melody. There's the lyrics. Like I didn't know that either. Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's
Very,
wow.
very, 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 very beautiful business we in. I often tell
Wow.
people, when people say this is a dirty business, the business is not dirty.
Mm,
The business is not dirty. It's the people in the business that's dirty. The
mm,
business didn't rob you.
mm-hmm,
It's the people you let in charge of your accounts that robbed you. It's the people you signed to. And you gave up, in that contract, you gave up 100% of your publishing for $50,000.
mm,
Now you see the people who you signed to in Lamborghinis and Maybachs and eating consistently for the life of that record. They eating off the song you wrote. And you're like, but what about me? I gave you your 50,000. You sold me your publishing. But I only
wow.
got 5,000 of that 50 left. Well, that's the decision you made. You should have read your contract.
Wow.
That's how that works. So the business is not dirty. It's the players. It's the people in the business that's dirty. And we got to really watch what we say when we say this business is dirty, because this business can treat you right when you have the knowledge.
Wow. And these are the TLC, these are the new edition stories that we hear about, where they put all this work in but only got so much back financially. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, man. Bro, thank you so much for this time, man. This has been so informative, so interesting. If you would, I know you talked about the Mila J album, the project with Mad Lion and KRS-One's in that too, right?
Yep, we got that's coming this January.
Man, bro, but before we wrap, because I'm sorry, I gotta put a pause. KRS-One has got to be, man, for me personally, one of my favorite pioneer MCs, lyricists when I was growing up, bro. Like BDP was probably one of my. I'm just gonna be 100% with you, man. BDP was one of my favorite groups, but I was also a white kid from the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. So there was a lot of stuff that he talked about that I didn't understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so it was really interesting to listen to a lot of BDP and a lot of KRS-One, because there was stuff that it was just really enlightening to me. Can you kind of just tell me a little bit about the man himself, KRS-One? Because I'm really, he has always fascinated me.
Oh man, brother KRS-One. I've always looked up to him. I always wanted to rhyme and MC and be like KRS.
Yeah.
People used to call me Baby KRS in Ohio.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Battle.
Okay.
And I mean, he's always been the God MC to me, so it's always been a dream. And when I first signed my deal and I got to New York, my first real manager was Scott Morrison. His name is manager. They called him Manager Mo. He managed BDP. He managed KRS-One. He was right-hand man with Scott LaRock.
Okay.
Scotty Mo is like my big brother still to this day. And I know if you know BDP, you heard of RoboCop.
Yeah.
RoboCop boy, he's down with us. Yeah. And D Nice. So Scotty Mo, RoboCop, and D Nice, they collectively managed me for a big portion of me doing my first album.
Oh wow!
Now, mind you, I never met KRS-One. All of those years I was with Scotty, Derek, which is D Nice, and Keith, RoboCop, they will always say to me, "Man, one day you're gonna do a song with Chris. You're gonna do a song with KRS-One one day." They will always say that to me.
Wow!
And it happened. It finally happened. It finally happened. And when I met him through Mad Lion, I told him about those guys. He said, wow, great times with them. And we shook hands and we just instantly, we just had I think me and KRS-One, we created an instant respect for each other lyrically on the mic. I think he felt, I know he felt my respect for him. I know he felt my respect and my homage to him. But at the same time, he know that I'm out for bloody red meat when it come to rhyming. You give me a boom bap beat, I'm trying to eat it. I don't care who on it. And I ain't I'm definitely not going to try to like eat up the God MC. You know what I'm saying? Just his presence fed me. His presence on the record. Nah, I just felt like, you know what? I'm rhyming with my hero. So the last thing I'm gonna ever do is be on this record and be trash. What? Nah. So when he told me, yo, Roof, your verse is ill. Like, I mean, that meant so much to me. That changed my life, man. I felt the shift at that moment. Like, you know what, man? Don't let. And I remember Rakim telling me I was nice when I was younger.
Wow, really?
You know, word.
Wow,
so,
that's a crazy cosign.
Rakim told me that, and Eric B. So on different separate occasions, I didn't meet Eric B and Rakim together. I met Rakim
not at the same time.
Eric B in Jersey.
Oh wow.
So when you in your life, when I sat down recently, I thought about that, and I said, man, me, Mad Lion and KRS-One, we did a Nerve DJs conference interview with Big Hef and all of those guys.
Yeah.
And yo, the things that KRS-One said about me, it was a whole other level of respect, because he didn't have to say that, but he did. And I respect that man, because him and Mad Lion, they believed in me and showed love. And I also want to shout out my man Mike Groove from Youngstown, Ohio, because he's the one that introduced me to Mad Lion, and that opened the doors and gave me the opportunity to be able to even do that record. So, you know, shout out to Mike Groove. I appreciate him. But man, I mean, I'm still blown away by that, man. And I know KRS definitely wants to do more. Me and Lion, like brothers, we work together day in and day out. But I look forward to doing more with brother KRS-One. I'm blessed.
No doubt, man. Wow, that's dope. Tell me when. So the record comes out in January 2021. Is that right?
Flame On drops in January for the Black Lion EP.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now is that? I'm assuming that's Apple. That's Apple iTunes Music. Right. That's YouTube. Where
any digital platform you name, it's gonna be on it. It might be on Voodoo.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, that's dope. Tell me, man, what else you got in the kitchen, man? What else is coming up for you?
We have been doing a project called I Am LeBron. This project is great and involves kids. It's for, my wife started an anti-bullying foundation called the Punchback Foundation. You know, we fighting against cyberbullying, just bullying in general, whether it be online or kids just trying to go to school every day, trying to get their education, that keep running into these knuckleheads. And I Am LeBron is something I came up with because I see LeBron, you know, endure so much adversity, people talking about him and just hating on him, and he just continued to ball through it all.
Yeah.
And nothing can stop him. And a lot of these kids, I heard some little kids saying, no, I'm LeBron, I'm LeBron. No, you da-da-da-da, I'm LeBron. And I said, no, I am LeBron. I am not afraid, I'm confident and strong. So my management put that package together. Me and my wife wrote an amazing song. My brother Corey Peterson produced it. And then also, you may have heard of World of Dance. They had a big TV show on NBC with Neo and Jennifer Lopez as the host.
Yeah.
Huge company. They have a fitness company under their umbrella called UJam. So shout out to Matt Marks Jr. registered for that UJam. We are, you know, I think Pitbull does Tybo music,
Okay.
and we do U-Jam's music. So it's me and my wife and
Wow.
my brother P, and we growing all over the world. And I believe the World of Dance TV shows get ready to come back. So with me and my wife's work and my man P's work, we were able to, help them launch a record label called World of Dance Records. And they have some great artists get ready to come out. So, if you ever look up U-Jam, you'll hear our songs everywhere, and we growing. What happened was the pandemic hit, so people can't get out to work out. But this too shall pass, and we still working, and we love it. On top of that, I had a song on Star, the TV show Star, and I got some more film and television stuff and things in the pipeline. So I'll get back to you on that when I hit.
All right. Okay, that's what's up, man. Rufus Blaq, how do we connect with you? Social media platforms. So go ahead and give that, man.
Instagram at The Real Rufus Blaq. Black is spelled BLAQ. Instagram at The Real Rufus Blaq. Twitter, Rufus Blaq. And same thing for Facebook.
Perfect. Rufus Blaq.
No TikToks, no Snapchats.
No TikTok? Good. Really?
No, I didn't know kids. I'd be like, what is this stuff, man? I don't know what they're doing. My daughter be cracking me up trying to teach me them dances, man. Hilarious.
Rufus Blaq, Justin Luvv, thank you so much for your time, bro. And again, thank you for everything you shared, man. Salute, love, bro.
Salute to you too, Ken. We're gonna get together and eat something real soon.
No doubt.
I'm a fat boy.
Spinderella's solo project. I had no idea. I've never even heard of that before. I hope they release that because I would really like to hear that sometime. And what he talked about with Bobby and Whitney, I remember he said he knows people that have never drank, never smoked anything, and have never had the kind of love that they had for each other. Wow, it's really fascinating. And I love what he talked about the behind the scenes stuff in the music industry. Me as a fan, you as a fan, some stuff that we just would never think of, we've never heard before. So really insightful. Hope you get a lot of value out of that. Really, really interesting stuff. Remember, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, and we're on YouTube. Drops every Sunday at noon Eastern time on YouTube. And stay up with Rufus Blaq. He's again at the real Rufus Blaq on Instagram and Twitter. He says he doesn't do TikTok. But keep up with Justin Love Life Podcast at Justin Luvv on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. And it's the Love Life, the LUVVLIFE, the Love Life on YouTube. So we will talk to you next Sunday at noon. Love you. Peace.